I want to share with you the best way to remelt your picky pad. Now, maybe you bought those from me, or maybe you're trying to do it on your own. Either way, stick around, and I want to show you what I finally figured out. You should have something that looks something similar to this. So I just picked out all of my beads. We're gonna take this and we're going to remelt it. But here's the thing. I have found what I hope is and what I think is the best way to do this. You should have received this in your package, which is just a little silicone mold that is gonna make your remelting so much easier. Now, what I want you to be really careful of is when you heat this up, you wanna grab it by the sides here. You can even make sure you have pot holders, whatever, to not burn yourself, because under here, it gets piping hot. The very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this. I'm using my massive scissors, but you should be able to use scissors just like this or any sort of plain kitchen scissors. So I am, cutting right about there. What we're doing with the smaller part is we're gonna make what I'm calling a topper. So I'm gonna take the smaller piece. This is going to become our topper. Now I'm gonna cut it in 3 pieces. And the reason I'm cutting it in 3 pieces is just to make the melting a little bit more even. I've just placed the pieces like so. We're going to put it in the microwave. We're gonna do 1 minute and 30 seconds on power level 3. Your microwave will be different, but I would rather test lower power than higher power for sure. And I'm doing time cook 1, 3, 0. Power level 3, start. All right, as you can see, I had some hidden beads in there. That's okay. So what we're gonna do with this is we need this to cool down, and that's gonna take probably about 30-ish minutes. And I'm gonna set it right in front of this fan right here. This is the fan that does all of our drying. While that material is setting, I wanted to tell you some really important things about using this material. The most important thing to know is to not let the material get too hot or too cold. The extremes in temperature damage the material and it makes it not last as long. So we want this to last as long as possible. And the way that we do that is we heat it low and slow. If it happens and you accidentally boil this material, like I have done before, personally, since I'm selling it, if I accidentally boil it, I throw it away because I'm not gonna sell damaged material. But if you have it and you accidentally boil it by forgetting to put the power level low, it will bubble over and it will make your microwave a mess. Ask me how I know. What you're gonna do is you're gonna let it set until it firms up. Then you'll be able to just peel it off of your microwave. It will peel right off. Then you're gonna cut it up and remelt it again, and then just make extra sure that you keep it low and slow. All right, so this is ready to go. I'm just going to peel that right out of the mold. Let's go to our next step. So we're gonna set this aside. This is ready to go. We're gonna set it aside. And now we're gonna take our bigger chunk and we're going to chop it up and we're gonna place it back into our silicone holder. So I'll go 1, 2. Place these into the mold. It looks something like this. And because this is more, I'm going to do 2 minutes and 30 seconds on 30% power, and then I'll be right back. What you want to make sure is as that is cooking, your base layer, that's what we call it. So we've got our top layer, and then we have our base layer. Our base layer is going to be hot, it's going to be fully melted, and we are going to pour the beads in immediately. Not all the beads, don't pour all the beads, you'll see what we'll do. But you want to have the beads right with you because even though it takes it, 15 minutes to fully form, it starts forming right away. Like it starts solidifying. I mean, not to where it's like this, but it does not stay completely melted for very long. So you want to make sure you have everything ready to go once you're pulling it out of the microwave. Like you got all your supplies, which basically just means you have your beads and you have your topper. All right, so what we're gonna do, we gotta move fast, is I'm not gonna pour this whole thing in. So we're gonna pour, and it's really just eyeballing it. One thing I am not going to do, I am not going to touch the material because it is piping hot and it will stick to your skin and it's hot. Now, I've never been burnt by it, but it is a little warm, and I definitely would not have any kids doing this without the help of a parent. I am slightly pressing these down before I put the topper on. We want those to press down into the material, and I'm really going to use this right here, our topper. I'm really going to use this to pull the sides away, tuck it in, pulling the sides away, tucking in. Now you're going to see at some point, probably, it might, like that, pop up over the edge. That's all right. We'll clean that up once we're done. So I want to hold the middle and push these down because I want them to get nice and low toward the bottom. I don't like this side right here because I can't get to it. I can't push it down because it's hot. So I'm taking just scissors. You can take a knife, like a butter knife, a fork, a spoon. Now it's gonna do this, but that's all right. I want to push it down. I want those beads to go down. There we go. See, now they're down to the bottom. I'm pulling this way because if I pull up, it's gonna string and it maybe pull those down. So I'm just pulling this way. All right, so now we have this ready to go back into the microwave. Now we're gonna melt this top layer right here. And I'm going to start with 1 minute and 30 seconds on on 30% power. And then we're just gonna see what happens. When you're first using your microwave, you want to do it lower than what I'm saying and check it often until you can see how your microwave behaves with this stuff. All right, so this was only at 1 minute, but it really looks done. And what I'm looking for is the material to move. Sometimes you'll see that the material isn't quite melted and you really want it to be melted so it sinks into the beads. Now what we're gonna do is we're just going to top these with the rest of our beads. And we're gonna make sure that they sink down into there. A few bubbles is normal. I cannot make them without getting a few bubbles. That does not mean it was boiling. It was not boiling. The material just bubbles. You'll get 1 or 2 big bubbles or a few bubbles in it each time. So I'm gonna tap it a little bit. See how I'm holding it by the sides? This is how I never touch the bottom of it. I hold it by its sides. All right, we want those in more than that. So I'm just gonna use these scissors for right now. I want all of these to go deeper in. If you get like this, where it sticks, what you wanna do is you can do one of 2 things. Either come this way to sort of wipe it off, or you go straight up and just wrap the material around your utensil that you're using so that it breaks the thread. Then I'm gonna pull this apart, pull it apart. I'm pushing it back together then. I'm trying to get that material on all of the beads so that they're nicely tucked in there. And that looks pretty good. There we go. So I would let this sit for a couple hours. There you have it. And if you have any questions at all, email me or message me directly through Etsy. I'm on top of those messages and I'll get right back with you and give you the best answer that I can. So anyway, thank you so much for shopping. I deeply, deeply appreciate you and supporting this small family business that we have here. It means a lot to me. Okay, I'll see ya.